Weird flex, but okay.
Welcome back to the Console LP podcast, featuring myself, Spencer, my co-host Matt with the NFL Gaming TV, and
Spencer,
myself, Spencer, and my co-host Matt from Neanderthal Gaming TV.
You had to enunciate both T's.
Hey, you haven't been introduced yet.
Oh,
featuring a close friend hailing from the town of Raccoon City. That's right, Raccoon City, also town of Raccoon City. I'm doing great today. How's it going, Fistcake?
I'm so confused. I don't even know where I'm at anymore. Usually I'm far away from somewhere, but fuck. Oh, geez. But, you know, we just, hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey. Let's start with what games we play this week.
What an open.
Fistcake, just start us off. Just get us out of this.
Fuck. I played video games, man. Let me go through the list here. I played Smash. Now I'm doing it. Now you've passed the curse on to me. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I played that most of the week this week. That's probably it's gonna be the game I play for the rest of the year because it's significant boost in stats and viewers and follows and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, all right.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, actually, Matt, now you get to ask the question you asked earlier on stream when we thought Fistcake was still there to answer it.
Whoops.
You remember what that question?
He answered. That one, he didn't answer our Resident Evil questions.
Was it the Resident Evil questions? Mm-hmm. Okay, because I remember you asking, like, oh, how are you enjoying streaming?
Yeah, he said it was pretty good.
You said it was pretty good?
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Getting my butt kicked a lot by a guy named Toast. But that's fine. That's how you learn. I thought he was just a really good Snake player, but then he switched to various other characters, and he still ran town on everybody.
Yeah,
but he's cool enough to...
butter that bitch.
Why would I? But
because he's toast.
I'm just gonna. Okay, so
so he's cool enough.
He's cool enough that he actually will hop out when I tell him to hop out. I'm like, hey, you ran a train on everybody. Can you hop out for one round so people can play against each other? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Cool. I'll just spectate for a little bit or something. I'm like, okay, cool.
Sick.
So he's nice enough to hop out, but he also just destroys everybody. So shout outs to Toast for demolishing people live on stream all the time. And he's the only person I've ever seen be able to recover with Incineroar. So he's got some skill. He's got some actual skill.
Ask him to break that down for you.
How do you do the things that you do? Please.
What are the decisions that you make that don't, turn into death?
I too played some Incineroar.
Why?
Because someone requested it.
Oh no!
Flores, right?
Yeah, Flores, and I recovered.
Yeah, whatever. Check the VODs. I don't see it. I don't believe it. Only one man can recover, and that's Toast. He's the new man.
All right.
But I played that all week, and it's a lot of fun actually. And I enjoy losing a lot because I can actually have like time to chat with the chatters and like analyze gameplay and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. So check out the Twitch channel for more of that. I finished the Hex, which is the game by the person who made Pony Island, and it's very good. It's very Pony Island-esque, where not everything is as it seems.
Right.
Like they just set you up like, hey, there's about to be a murder. There's about to be a murder. A murder is about to happen at the Six Pine Inn, and your job is to figure out who's going to murder who. But the way you kind of go through this is by kind of checking out everybody's backstory through kind of playing their segments.
Yeah.
And each character has like a different genre. So there's like a platformer guy, there's a fighting game guy, there's a RPG lady, there's a like a top-down shooter kind of person, and you kind of go through each of their things and realize like how they kind of interact with each other, because they're all it's a long, complicated thing. Just check out the videos or go play it yourself. I think you can get it for like $5 on Steam or something like that. Highly worth it. Anything else to say about that game? Oh, the ending is kind of cool. How to get to the true ending is very abstract and still kind of cool, but I highly recommend trying to get the true ending.
Oh,
Which
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that type of game, I would expect the true ending to be like this crazy thing.
Because I think with Pony Island, you had to do something specific, but I can't remember off the top of my head. This is just like you go to a different game, download it, play it for a little bit, or you type in some stuff into this new game, and then you figure out. Yeah. So no collecting, no like, oh, I have to go back and forth and do all this shit. It's just you just download a free game, type the thing in, you're good to go.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we did that. And then for the channel, I'm going to have another playthrough in the afternoons called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Seventh Stand User, which apparently this game's been out for like 5 years. And as like a casual JoJo fan, I've never knew that it existed. And for those who don't know anything about JoJo or video games, basically you play as the Seventh Stand User. In the third arc of the I guess it's arc. What? What's... Okay, well, all right, don't worry. No, that's fine. No, go ahead and sleep if you gotta sleep. It's fine. You can take a nap. Okay. So you play as a Seventh Stand User, third arc of JoJo, and in JoJo, basically you have these things called stands, which are basically kind of like punch ghosts, kind of the easiest way to explain it. And they each have their own certain abilities and weaknesses and whatnot. The cool part is how they make up your stand is basically you do a personality test, and then you can have one of 13 different stands. And I got this cool stand called Wild Hearts, which is like a giant cat creature thing that can chase people down and shit. It's pretty cool. If you're into like the old JRPGs where you're kind of like just walking around places and just checking shit out, kind of like Pokemon era, like Gen 1 Pokemon era stuff.
Oh, okay.
So this would be a game for you. Also, my voice acting has never been better. It's truly reached a new peak with the series. I just I'll have to rewatch the video so I remember who has what voice.
That's the hardest part for me too.
Yeah.
I don't go back and rewatch the videos, and so I end up just coming up with something that is what I think is close, but is largely usually my first attempt at a voice for somebody is better than my second attempt in the next recording session.
Yeah. Also, the thing with you, like you do it live too, you can't take the time out of the stream. Like, hey, I had to watch the video real quick, guys. Just wait. A dead air. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. Just wait, guys. Hold on.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So, that's that. Oh, and I played in another indie game. I played Resident Evil 2, the remake.
Right. I heard about that little. Yeah.
And by the little small people by Capcom. Have you ever heard of Capcom?
I mean, I think.
Capon?
No, Capcom.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I think I might have seen something like a previous game, but it wasn't like I remember it wasn't anything crazy, which is why this game apparently is so surprising.
Oh yeah, no, everybody didn't see this coming at all. It's a knock out of the park. In all seriousness, it's a very good game. I thought when I played the demo, I was a little worried because the controls didn't quite feel right. Like the walking around didn't quite feel right, and I didn't really get a chance to kind of like explore and like mess with the mechanics and whatnot because the demo's shitty. The demo's absolutely terrible. If you actually want to see like a good game or if you want to decide if you want to play this game or not, watch other people play it instead of playing the demo because then you can kind of get a better idea. Very good game. I beat the first story. Basically, Resident Evil 2 has kind of worked this way. The 98 version had the zapping, is what's called the zapping system, whereas you would play one character, and that would be Route A, and then you would play the second character, and that would be Route B, whereas Route A was kind of like the main game, and you would see what happened there, and Route B would be like the filler, would kind of like explain behind-the-scenes stuff of what happened in that route and whatnot. This one has the same thing, except for it's now called the second run. So I guess it'd be called like Leon 1, Claire 2 instead of like Leon A, Claire B, which is kind of a weird fix, but stick with it.
Stick with the other naming convention.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I imagine everybody's probably still going to call it the same thing, but Claire A, Leon B. But I finished Claire A, and I understand that you guys have bought Resident Evil 2 as well. Mm-hmm. I got stuck. I got like in the final boss fight with one first aid spray because I didn't realize it was coming up so quickly.
Oh wow!
Because I beat the first route like under 5.5 hours. So I thought like, oh, I thought what the fight was going to be was like one of those like, okay, just keep the zombie at bay while you run away and stuff again. No, this is my final form. Prepare your butthole. I'm like, oh, I don't even have a healing spray. I had to like search around the battlefield to get the healing spray.
Oh,
but barely passed that and got to that route. So now I need to finish Leon B, which will be fun. But it's just such a good game. I love it so much. Everything about it. The zombies. And pretty much everybody kind of approaches that their own unique way. Because now the zombies can come back for any reason whatsoever. The only for sure way you know that a zombie is dead is when their head is exploded. But that takes so many bullets to do that, it's not really worth it to kill most zombies like that. Mm-hmm. It's more beneficial to kind of like either take them out like the legs or their arms or something, just so they don't have like as much grabbing length or whatever.
Gotcha.
And it's really fun. And then like there's a persistent enemy that comes along that kind of changes it up. I don't know if it happens for Leon's route, but I'm not for sure. I'm trying to think of what else I really want to say.
Well, in the original 1998 version, wasn't there a character that would just like kind of randomly come about? Am I thinking of a different game? But wasn't there one called like the Butcher or something like that? Or there's a guy who would walk through the wall.
The wall.
He would just like come out, and then all of a sudden you're getting chased.
Oh, that's so Resident Evil 2 did have a persistent enemy. It's called Mr. X. He's like a giant tyrant with like a trench coat and stuff and whatnot.
Okay, I don't know where I got the Butcher from.
Well, the Butcher I think is in Resident Evil 5. I think he's a persistent enemy, but he's not the kind of enemies before. Right. But I think what you're thinking of is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where the Nemesis actually like breaks through walls and shit and chases you down.
What I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Chases you down with a rocket launcher and stuff. Trying to think. Yeah, so basically when I got to that point, I'm like, oh, well, this isn't so bad. I'm doing pretty good on ammo. I'm doing pretty good on healing items. I think this will be an okay game. And then he shows up. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, God. But I don't want to ruin anything about that for you guys. So I'll keep that on the DL about the finer details about that. But I think that's it for me. What have you two been playing this week?
Well, before we go into the games that we played, I just wanted to ask, when talking about Resident Evil 2 and the zombies, so basically what you're saying is the point of the zombies in this one isn't to kill waves of zombies, it's to just mitigate the zombies to get through the area.
Yeah, so like the old Resident Evil 2 was about management, like basically like kind of like weighing your pros and cons of trying to wipe out a certain area because you only have limited ammo.
Right.
You also have limited ammo in this, but they kind of increased the ammo count to kind of deal with these zombies. And basically you kind of just have to choose like, okay, how am I going to make this easier for myself in the future? Should I waste the ammo and try to just blow their brains out, or should I just cap them at the knee so they have to crawl around, or should I, shoot them at their arms? Because from what I can tell, and from what people have been saying on Twitter and whatnot, there's actually like no difference in like dealing damage to them between like hitting them in the head, leg, arm, whatever.
Gotcha.
The only benefit to hitting them in the head is like to stun them, so you can kind of like shoot them once in the head, run past them or whatever. And that'd be that. But there's actually, from what people have been saying, there's really no like difference of damage between shooting them in the head, chest, arms, legs, whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and there's also like new zombie types in this. Like they tricked you. It was pretty much like straightforward, I guess, normal Resident Evil for the most part. And then they had like new zombie types, and it's like, oh fuck, oh god, I don't want to be here ever again. Oh, these things are terrifying. Please leave. Oh god.
My canon.
What?
Timeline? Canon? These zombies weren't in the original.
Oh, I see.
My
I don't know.
canon.
Okay.
Not like a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what? I don't think
One
any of
end.
them had a cannon.
Well, two ends, but not in the next to each
Yeah.
other.
Gotcha.
Okay. Nailed it. All right.
Spelling.
Well, so saying that kind of makes me, it's like, oh well, because when you guys were playing Resident Evil 6, I think this is when you guys were playing Resident Evil 6. The problem with it was that you didn't know like what you're supposed to do with the zombies, and it seemed like you had, because they were coming at you waves, you had to kill them to get to the next area. But in this is like, you're not likely to be killing all of them, and it just feels better. Like, okay, fine, they're gonna have super powerful zombies, but at least you don't have, in all circumstances, murder every single one of them, because it's not what's expected.
Yeah, Resident Evil
So
6
that just feels
more
better in my head. I mean,
Yeah.
I would of course prefer like maybe different zombies in general, but it's nice to hear that, at least knowing that, it's not so confusing and dumb.
Also, me and Spencer are going to split up the play between Leon and Claire. Is
Yeah.
that do they have about the same amount of playtime, or is it Leon?
So basically, whoever plays Route A will have the longer playtime, and whoever plays Route B will have a shorter playtime.
By
'Cause-
a lot, or
I'm not entirely sure, but like people were saying, like people are also saying this, like the main route is gonna be like 6-7 hours, and then the second route was like 3 to 4 hours. So I guess it depends on how you play. So I guess whoever plays the second route will have like probably like maybe 1 to 2 hours shorter. But you could also after you do that, you also unlock like a different game mode. You can play that as well. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing both routes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do like Claire A, Leon B, then Leon A, Claire B, and then playing the survival mode and all that fun shit, because it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stupid fun in this game for basically being shitting your pants every 5 seconds from something. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so whatever you guys, what did you play? What did you play? What did you do this week? What did you guys do?
Monday we played Civ with D.
yeah.
I'm crushing the slimy Brits.
Yeah. Matt
Pretty
went
much
with the
single-handedly.
Japanese Armada.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dee's in there like she has a few people kind of acting as support, and literally my entire job the whole time was like, well, I'm not going to be involved in the battles because I wasn't able to get ready in time, but I was just trying to mitigate, get better at mitigating the whole religion thing that was happening, and I feel like I've so far kept the other religions out now, and then I have this thing that I was able to get through. Are you still there, Fiskate?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh God, you were like so still. I was like, wait. What?
Sorry, I was just responding to a message real quick. I'm sorry. Be
No,
one second.
I got you.
Go ahead.
But I got this ability through the religion thing where my missionaries, when being adjacent to a barbarian, just convert them to my side. So I've gone through the whole map, and with mercenaries on different ends, and I can just be next to them, don't have to fight them, and just eliminate all barbarians. And I think I've eliminated every barbarian encampment except for one, because it was near somebody that's currently at war with us, and it wasn't worth going down there at that time. But basically what would happen is I'd have a turn where I'd convert like 12 barbarians, and then my money would be like shot because I have all these extra units now, and then I'd be like deleting them the next turn because I have to wait a turn. But now I'm going to be sending some battleships over now that I have some actual cash and time and all that.
I have one quick question about your whole Civ 5 playthrough. Great stuff. So, whose idea was it originally to start naming cities after D's body parts?
That was mine.
Okay.
And then
Can
she
you
started
explain? Can you explain your thought process behind this? I want to know the background to the artist of D's labia winky face.
Well,
I forgot there was a winky face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little tease.
The labias and the tease. It's a
rationale
winky face.
was I had a city, and the way that my landmass is, I put a lot of thought into this.
Mm-hmm.
The way my landmass looked, I was like, I can set up like cities in like kind of equidistant areas. And
Yeah.
then in my mind, I was like, well, I can make it look like a body. So then I was like, oh, okay, I'll have Dee's head at the top and whatever. And I was like, that's not really that funny. So what I did was is just name them in appropriate places,
Okay.
which is more funny.
All right. Good.
That's basically
I just want
it.
to know. I wonder how did that even start? Was
Well,
basically
Dee fired back with like, I think she has one called Spencer's Peen, and then it's like Matt's Butthole or something like that.
oh nice.
Taint.
No, Matt's Taint.
Okay.
And just stuff like that. So,
Hey, thanks for the follow, Joe T.
oh, thanks for the follow.
Oh, thanks for the follow, Joe T.
You came in at just the right time. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
comedic. Which one is like surrounded by mountains?
That would be, I think that's her
Left
labia.
lip, or is that labia?
Yeah. And then I have like a little great general thing right at the top of it, so it's like pierced.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, there's a whole
No
inside joke.
strategic, thing.
Well, no,
just for the.
it's strategic because
Well,
it keeps the
yeah,
missionaries
but
out.
like it wasn't originally
strategic,
strategic. It just turned out that way.
It just happened
which
to
is
be
honestly
strategic.
the best. That's the best type of strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's going pretty well. That's pretty fun.
Okay.
I actually, the more we play it, the more I want to play another game after this one. So I don't know about
Oh
you.
shit.
But like because like playing this one, I made some mistakes and
Yeah.
and now I have some like I actually feel like I have an understanding of how things work a lot better. So the next time around, things will be so much easier. Like it'll be much better. Got a question for you guys. What's your favorite all-time GTA game? All-time GTA game? It's
Probably
gonna-
San Andreas. I played a shit ton of San
I didn't
Andreas.
play a lot of San Andreas. I played a good amount of it, but I think all-time, just because I put the most time into it, would be GTA 3 probably for me.
I think Vice City for me, because that's, besides Grand Theft Auto 5, that's the only one I've actually beaten to completion instead of just use cheat codes and fuck around.
Right. No, yeah, I never beat GTA 3. I only ever used, like, I think I got to the second island and almost to the third island once, but most of the time it was fucking around.
Yeah. But yeah, so GTA 5 or GTA Vice City, if we're talking OG games.
And GTA 5 is a good game. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just the standalone game. It's fun.
What
What else did we play
else?
this week? Tuesday
Tuesday we did.
we did Into the Veil, so we did Mutant Year Zero, and that game is still going strong. It's actually a pretty fun Into the Veil game.
We beat the Shamans,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
finally. We
yeah,
came
My
back.
strategic mastermind.
Matt
It
likes
was
to
a
take a
group
lot of
effort.
credit.
After that, we played some more Minecraft. That's
Yeah,
always a lot
that
of
was
fun.
a fucking shit show.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, so Dee was not able to participate.
At all.
And we had to cut it short because we didn't want to play any longer without her because that would be no fun. Her computer was just having a hard time connecting, so they're trying to fix that. But after like an hour and change, she still couldn't connect.
Yeah.
I was getting kicked out.
Oh, that
So
sucks.
not a whole lot got done, really. But I mean, it's still fun to play. So hopefully we can get that fixed because I still want to continue to play that. And then besides that, we played Vesperia this week again.
Mm-hmm.
Game's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have yet to check if we've been muted again like last time.
We probably will.
Probably have. We've been muted every time. So 6 minutes the first time, and then the last like 17 minutes last time, and then I don't know what's happening on this one. So that sucks. But
Do you guys also play sports games, or do you guys think it's all the same thing every year? I mean, I don't think they're all the same, but I don't play enough sports games to
really talk about it.
differentiate
Yeah.
between the years. I'll play maybe one every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, to give you some context, the only time Matt or I ever play any sports games is usually if it's like a football, like Madden or NCAA, and it's just for the express purpose of playing with our friend Coulter from Ridge Gaming and just making ourselves and then playing as ourselves. And usually we
Yeah.
like to pick the worst team and then make the worst team the best team because that's fun. But that's literally like the only reason why we ever play any of them. But
Everybody loves a good underdog story with an OP character.
Yes,
3 really.
yeah, three OP characters. Matt's always
I
a
played-
quarterback. Yeah,
Oh.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I played boxing every once in a while. That's about it. But like the last boxing game I truly enjoyed was like probably from like 5 years ago. So I don't know if that counts.
So yeah, Vesperia is fun. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's definitely a Tales of game. The combat system is still a little bit janky. We ended it on a kind of a sour note this last time around.
Oh yeah, I got my
Oh, no.
shit kicked in by a boss.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was the first enemy to actually like prove a challenge. I think it was the first time he died to somebody.
Yeah,
And Nat died to him, this boss, like 6 times.
6 or 7 times.
And we ended up putting it on easy and just destroying it because all of the strategies and stuff that would have allowed Matt to win require most of them were like, oh,
Time investments. I had to
Yeah.
go back and buy shit.
leave the area, go back and buy some stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's gonna be like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah,
Probably.
because I don't have fast travel, so
Oh,
so
man.
I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, but like it's crazy because it doesn't reiterate this. It only says it once. But if you're in, there's different modes on how to control your character. Usually you're on semi-auto, so when you lock onto somebody, you run back and forth directly in front of them usually. And so you just go towards the character that you're locked onto. You also have manual, but manual is the same as semi-auto unless you hold down a trigger to allow you to free run. But we couldn't remember that was how you free roamed, and so I thought that manual meant free roam. So when that switched to manual, I'm thinking, okay, so the strategy is you free roam, and then the boss doesn't know who to attack, and then you can just you use blah blah blah. But then it wasn't working, and Matt was like, "What the fuck?" And honestly, it's kind of like a really out of nowhere, just super unfair fight.
I don't think it's unfair, but I think the spike in difficulty it goes from like 10% to like 90%,
Yeah, it's
and you're not prepared for it at all.
like this enemy.
It just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, you can't really stutter it, and it just almost one shots you when it hits you. So you're constantly just re-healing people over and over again. But then your healer can get interrupted because it'll go after the healer. And so then if your healer's getting interrupted, then everybody's at low health, and then you just get wiped. And it's nuts.
That's the only problem with remastering old games is that they keep well, I guess not remaster, it's whatever you call it.
Like
Remaster, I
re-release.
guess?
Yeah, it's a remaster.
Yeah,
Not a
remaster.
remake, it's a remaster. Hey, sorry,
Yeah.
I get them mixed up, but they keep the old game difficulty, but with new game stuff. But the old game difficulty sucks because it's old. Well, not super old, but it's like, random difficulty spikes and JRPGs are all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh shit, well, now I gotta fucking grind for 15,000 hours. Yay.
What do you guys think about Fortnite? Do you guys enjoy playing it? I mean, I don't enjoy battle royale games.
Yeah, I haven't really found one that really spoke to me.
Is it overhyped?
Probably, but it's not like doesn't really tie a ton
Yeah.
in my opinion of it. I think it's just one of those where like I consistently have that feeling like maybe I should play Fortnite, but then when we played it, I'm like I'm not having a lot of fun.
I
So,
never
like,
have that feeling.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really.
I mean, I don't hate people who like it. Everybody's mad at these little kids for dancing. I don't give a shit. Dance.
Somebody made a
Dance,
post
boy.
but they were like Minecraft circa 2010 cringe is the exact same as what's happening with Fortnite cringe now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
And I tried it out a few times. I don't really care for it. I kind of got burned out on battle royales after playing PUBG for a long time, and then playing Fortnite. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I
I'm
just
just
don't
like-
care enough to like get into the crafting system. Really, is what it is. Like the making
Pretty much.
things and all that. But
Yeah.
the building system, I guess, is what a better term for it.
Yeah.
But speaking of random difficulty spikes with bosses, we've been playing a ton of Final Fantasy X recently, off stream.
Oh
And
yeah.
we're about 15, almost 16 hours in now, and I looked it up, and we're about halfway done with the game. And we had a battle. I'm assuming spoilers. Like the game's been out forever, right? There's a battle with Seymour, and you fight him, and then there's we had like a dedicated strategy, and we just like stuck to the strategy and just beat him, and I was never afraid, right? And then there's this guy later on who's just like he's not a random mob, but he's like this extra bit after the battle with Seymour.
Yeah, when
That's
you're
just like
escaping.
really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So the boss is not that difficult, and then you go into this other fight, and
it's crazy because in both fights they have two of these like secondary guys who just are there to buff the main dude. But in the first one, they're just like protecting him. So you just take those guys out, and then like, now you can attack the main guy. But in the second one, they're like casting Berserk on this huge like Wendigo abominable monster guy, and so he has Berserk, and he hits like super hard, like harder than any other character so far.
Oh god.
Enemy, because like his normal attack is like 2300, and then his main attack with the Berserk, it's like it gets like 3.5 sometimes. Oof. And so you're taking hits like that, and you have to heal him of the Berserk so he doesn't freaking destroy you, and you can't really stop him. Like you can put darkness on him to make sure he doesn't hit you sometimes, but he's just like a really. I think we ended up beating him by using Auron's Threaten, and so we threaten him and be like, "Oh, I don't want to attack because I'm scared," and then we like do some stuff and prepare and try to attack him. But it I don't think I died, but it was like it was
we
just
haven't
difficult.
lost any fights. I don't think.
No.
Not really.
And there's been some crazy ones because, like, even after that, you end up on that island with all the sand, and like out of nowhere, there's just like.
Anyways, wait.
Creature has 45,000 health.
It doesn't matter. the crux of this whole thing is Blitzball fucking sucks.
Right, Blitzball is terrible.
It's
terrible.
the fucking worst mini game that's ever been included in the shit. Like, it's not fun.
Matt told me when we were starting out. So when we're playing this, do we want to like try to like really play Blitzball? Like, do we want to go down that route?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's do it, because we're not playing this on stream.
Yeah.
We can just do it. And then our first run-in with Blitzball, it took me like 4 tries because you can lose Blitzball and move on. Like
With the story.
Yeah, that first story-based Blitzball, you can lose and move on, and most people do. We were gonna fucking win.
We were gonna win.
So
we reloaded
like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Until we got
and then we won by the grace of God.
Yeah.
We scored one at the second half, and then they scored one, and they scored another, and then they won. Then we reloaded, and then we scored one, and they didn't score. We just kind of like tossed the ball around for 5 more minutes.
And then we won.
And cheesed it a little bit.
And what's shitty about it is it looks like it could be a good game, but the controls are absolute trash.
Yep.
Like your move is, if you get close to the edge of the map, your character just turns around and goes the opposite direction now. And I'm like, no, I want to follow the edge to go around so I can pass to Waka so he can make the shot. Right? This is a strategy we looked up online that it guarantees things, which it doesn't, by the way. We missed like 4 shots that way, even though we did the perfect play.
Yeah.
Right? And
we were in it.
And the enemy team, like
way better than ours.
Their stats are crazy.
Way better.
Like
the deck was stacked against us.
Yeah, it was
and
insane.
we still won.
That's right.
By cheating.
We didn't cheat.
Well, we reloaded.
We didn't use any.
We had there are 6 or 7 alternate timelines where we lost.
Yes.
But we're in the one that we won, so fuck all those.
Yeah, those are the dark timelines. We're gonna talk about those.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember like how the game or how Blitzball controlled or whatever, but all I just remember is like I didn't like Blitzball. But now that you said why, or now that you explained the game, like yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I always know it was terrible.
I wanted to like it, right? I love those. Like I thought it'd be cool because I'm like, oh, you can play Blitz all throughout the game, and you can like scout for players,
and stuff,
which we totally forgot about until like maybe 6 hours later.
Yeah,
and then we're like, oh wait, we haven't scouted any players, and turns out it's just like a different. You just press a different button when you go talk to somebody. But yeah, and so. When I last night I was like, "Are we even gonna do Blitzball?"
No. Like, so I looked up, and there's no real benefits.
No.
And Jesus fucking Christ, Titus is an idiot.
He's so dumb.
He just does he's so confused all the time.
People will say something, and this is a real representation of like an actual phrase that is said. It'll be something like, "Oh, when people die, they have to move on," and he'd be like, "Move on." What's moving on?
What does that mean?
And then like fucking Lulu over here is gonna be like,
oh my fuck.
So when people die, that moving on is just another word for fuck it. Like
I get it that Titus is supposed to be you, right? So like you don't know anything. You're like, ooh, moving on. Does that mean something different? But he like every time there's like even like a little hint of I don't know exactly what that is, but we already know because fucking, I don't know, pay attention.
People,
I don't know. He just asks, I don't understand. What does that mean?
He doesn't take context clues, and you see, like, some of the times it makes sense, right? It like they say a bunch of like, oh, what's the faith with a Y? Like, okay, that's a legitimate question, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, well, what do you mean with this thing that, or like the context clues are in the sentence of my question about it? What is that? And then they're like, well, it's this. Wow, you really don't know anything, do you? And he's like, yeah, you believe me now that I'm not from Spira? And I'm like, no, we just believe you're an idiot.
Yeah, he is extremely stupid.
Yeah. And also, I have a theory about Yuna's voice acting because we met up with other female characters who were followers of Yevon, and they all they also talk the same way. Besides certain summoners who are like all bitchy and sassy, but like most of them, they have that airy speech and they kind of talk in this jilted kind of weird.
Like they've all been kind of like slightly lobotomized.
Right. So I'm like, you know what? She's not a bad voice actress. She's actually a great voice actress because she's playing the character the way apparently it's supposed to be played.
How did that laughing scene play out? Was it just
in
as weird
context,
as before?
Makes total fucking sense.
I've been telling you, motherfuckers.
No, I know. I was just the remaster.
Actually,
I was just asking if it was still okay.
Yeah, it's still
it's
okay.
great.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was worse.
I'm just so ready to fight about it.
Please don't.
No, but like
I get it.
Like the way the scene happens, it's literally like Yuna's a little bit upset and she's down, and he's a little bit upset and he's down, and they both agree to try to be happier, so they fake laugh to each other as like, okay, we got to laugh, and you're like, okay,
they
no,
real
you
laugh right afterwards,
and then they giggle about it afterwards because they know how dumb it sounds, and like it's all there, and like I think the writing actually in a bunch of those scenes with Yuna, like actually Titus is written pretty well with how he approaches situations and how awkward he makes it sometimes. It's so real. It's like, nah, a kid at his age would be that awkward.
Yeah.
And so it just makes sense. It's like, oh, that's actually pretty like accurate. Now the writing about his character not knowing shit, that could
I think that's just like the game devs thinking their audience is idiots and don't understand what's going on.
It's like, well, what if a 10-year-old plays this game? Well, fuck, okay, I'll add in another part where he's confused.
Fucking dime a dozen.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so far the game's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, been having a lot of fun. There's a lot of funny bits.
Yeah, we're almost getting to the point of the absolute furthest we've ever been.
Yeah. Lulu got swallowed by a sandworm, and then like Arn sent it into the stratosphere, and then the battle was over.
Yeah,
and then
it
was really weird.
And then usually gets sped out after a while, and there's no damage done. It just removes that person from play. And but I never thought about, well, what if you beat it while they were still swallowed? And Oren's ability was like shooting stars, so he just like punts it into the sky, and then the battle's just over, and she's back.
Yeah, she didn't get any experience.
No, she was gone.
Well, I mean, you don't get a whole lot of experience for being in the stomach of a monster.
Right. Yeah, they just skipped over the whole.
It was just so. It just looks so stupid.
Yeah. It was
really dumb. Well, that's
literally, its model's just like woo.
This giant ass worm.
That was fun.
Then we played Ultimate. Had a good day in Ultimate.
Yeah. Played
Wario. Wario's fun.
Yeah. Matt destroyed me in the squad strikes yesterday.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but besides that, I feel like we actually had some pretty good games, like for the episodes, and we did a full week of episodes this time around, which hasn't been happening recently, so that's good. Kind of buckled down on that, and then today we had a pretty good Melee day. I had some self-reflection about Melee and my Samus play, but Matt was playing Fox out of his mind.
Yeah, so. Dude, I'm on the finger of the pulse of Fox.
Yeah,
Fox has been playing so good.
Yeah, okay, and
nice.
That's a finger on the pulse of Fox. All right.
What?
It's a metal song.
Yeah, actually.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Maybe we'll do that.
Let's go to our first story. 40 minutes into the podcast.
Let's go. I kind of expected this because of
this is how it usually goes anymore.
And all that, and how it's been going recently. First story of the day: Metroid Prime 4. It's delayed.
Well, use the thumbnails.
Oh yeah. That tweet. Did you see that? Where it was like, so
that guy's actually the editor, or used to be the editor of the Super Best Friends.
Oh,
yeah, Small World.
Funny. Yeah, so basically, Nintendo's delayed Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo's rebooting the project and shifting development to Retro Studios, the Metroid Prime series original developer. So basically, the current development progress has not reached the standards we seek in a sequel to the Metroid Prime series, and Nintendo always strives for the highest quality. And they've asked that they work with the original guys who did it because of that, because they were making the game, and then apparently like, this isn't that good. Let's just redo it.
Yeah,
they had to fuck up pretty bad for them to be like, hey, we're just going to start from scratch.
They released that one really bad Metroid Prime game that everybody hates, like Metroid Prime Zero or some shit.
Oh. I have no idea. I haven't played a Metroid game ever.
Super panned.
That makes
sense. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And it kind
is
of
that
killed...
the one where you play like the backstory of Samus or something?
I don't know. I never played Metroid.
This
is context clues over the course of my life.
Right. Yeah. So basically, they had one that didn't do very well, so it makes sense that they would try to make this one good.
But no, I mean, that game almost killed the whole Metroid franchise. They only recently brought it back with that 3DS game.
Right. And that also makes sense as to why originally the development wasn't being done by Retro Studios. It's being done by somebody else. And they're like, you know what? Actually, let's just have them do it, please. They originally announced it at E3 2017 for the Nintendo Switch, but they only showed the logo for the game and no details. And then at E3 2018, they didn't showcase the game because they didn't want to repeatedly tease fans, so the game was closer to completion, which actually is pretty, like, I appreciate that, right? Because it's not like they had a release date or anything like that. And they didn't try to do that thing where like, oh, this is what we have, and then decide, you know what, we're not doing that, because then nobody got hyped about anything in particular besides being hyped for the game in general.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just smart, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, like, I appreciate them doing that. Like, hey, we're not just going to keep showing the same footage over and over again of like the intro,
right,
or like the 5-second like of just Metroid Prime thing. But
yeah.
So kudos to them. I'd rather have a game delayed than brought up super early and have all kinds of bugs, such as people cloning in tanks and airships and stuff. But hey.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that went into our next topic, but it doesn't.
It does not. It was just an observation. I'm sorry.
Next topic has to do with Kingdom Hearts 3. So nothing about the game itself, but GameStop apparently
oversold their pre-orders for the bundle with the console.
Yeah, the PlayStation 4 Pro version with the game. They oversold it. They had a little snafu with that. And the main reason why I'm bringing this up is the customers who had their orders canceled were sent an email informing them of the problem, along with a $25 coupon for a future GameStop order. Obviously these customers were not charged for the canceled order, and the email called it an unforeseen issue. But in a tweet this afternoon, the retailer said that actually it oversold its allotment of pre-orders. And so a lot of people are upset about it. There's one guy who apparently, he's like, I'm heartbroken. I traded in my old PS4 to pay for this console and bundle, and I had money just sitting in my account for months for you to take it out, and I have 2 emails to prove that I checked out. You will never understand how disappointed and saddened I am.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Maybe. You know, maybe chill.
Yeah. So this has a lesson.
Maybe go outside.
Maybe
don't put all of your eggs in a GameStop basket.
Right.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, GameStop fucked up super hard. But have you actually even like looked at this PlayStation Pro?
Oh, I haven't even seen it. It's just like the same, but with like a little design on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I get it, like they fucked up and that's bad. But like you could probably just get another PlayStation 4 Pro for a lot cheaper now, and you can probably just sketch in this stuff. It looks mostly like gibberish. I mean, I understand the front has like the hearts and the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything else that's going on.
This is all possible to be made by some fan with like a sticker.
Oh, it's the. Yeah. Oh, is it?
I have no idea.
I thought it looks like the spear grid.
The spear grid. Wow. Worlds are colliding.
Oh yeah.
No, but like there's been a lot better PlayStation 4 Pros bundle things,
like designs.
So this is not like But that GameStop did fuck up. They shouldn't have done the thing they always do.
Yeah. And there's one comment from a voice actor who was like, "Yo, don't BS. all right, this has happened because you have you force your employees to sell as many pre-orders as they could in order to hit company established quotas, the same quotas that you use to fire them if they aren't met on a regular basis. So he's like, this is absolutely your fault.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just unforeseen circumstances, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that happened. A little unfortunate for people. I think what mostly sucks about that is you don't know if you're one of the people who just aren't going to get one until you receive the email. You know, so it's like, it's kind of shitty.
It's not very good pre-order practice for sure.
Right.
Pre-order, so you might get it. You know, who knows?
Next stop, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So we talked about this last week, and basically there was a whole thing with the fact that you can play Assassin's Creed Odyssey the way you want to, as far as relationships are concerned. You can have a same-sex relationship, or you can not have a relationship at all and decide not to do it. But when this most recent DLC came out, it kind of forces you into a relationship, because the whole point of it is that you're supposed to be making a successor, because this is where the original assassin line comes from.
Yeah.
And what they've done is, originally we were assuming that they probably, in fact, they had said that they probably weren't going to be making any changes in the current DLC, but making changes in the next DLC before it ships, to make sure that it accommodates for people's choices later on. But actually, they're going to patch and will have changes to the story and cinematics after all. So the Ubisoft community manager said that they're going to change cutscenes and dialogue in Shadow Heritage, which is the name of the DLC, to better reflect the nature of the relationship for players selecting a non-romantic storyline. The changes in renamed trophy achievement, some found insensitive and inconsistent with their character, will be implemented in a future patch. Yeah, by the way, the achievement for marrying somebody in there, which was that forced relationship, was called Growing Up. And some people were like, "Oh, really? You're saying that marrying somebody of the opposite sex is growing up?" And so there's that whole thing, which
Why?
I'm sure
what the fuck is wrong with people, dude? I'm so like, just fuck off with this shit.
I'm sure there's a lot of assumptions.
I'm gonna be arbitrarily offended because you implied that growing up. Go back to Tumblr, bitch. I don't give a fuck.
Tumblr's gone.
Jesus, I hate that shit.
It's still around. It's not the same though, but it's still around.
Yeah.
So fucking
the heart of Tumblr is gone. There we go.
Right.
The porn.
You know what would be sick as hell is that the people who chose not to do a romantic partner, you get into this DLC and then you're like, nah, I'm not gonna have sex and continue my line, and then the DLC just ends.
That would be cool.
Maybe that's the option. It's like, no, and then it's like time, or what is like time paradox happens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be cool, because like I feel like that's what people would want. Because it says here, Assassin's Creed Odyssey in the run-up to its October launch noted the ability to play as a female or male character and have same-sex or opposite-sex romance options among the limited role-playing choices. But when Shadow Heritage came out, they revealed the character had settled down into a heterosexual relationship, even if they had spurned the romantic overtures of Darius' son or daughter. Fans reacted with disappointment and criticism.
And how dare they name the achievement Growing Up? How dare they?
Yeah. Also, the trophy achievement earned after the scene where the child is born was called Growing Up. Let's see here. So, yeah, there's an update. Following Ubisoft's announcement, GLAAD, the LGBTQ advocacy organization focused on instances of bias and discrimination in media, tweeted a statement calling the changes an important first step toward mitigating the damage done by the game's latest DLC. And a representative told Polygon that the organization had reached out to Ubisoft following the release of Shadow Heritage, and the two sides had a dialogue about it. And so, incidentally, GLAAD's 30th Annual Media Awards, which for the first time will recognize video games as a category, will announce their nominees tomorrow.
So I'm glad. I'm happy for them for doing this, but as a heterosexual white male, I guess I just don't. That part was supposed to be sarcastic, but that wasn't like, oh, as this. Basically, I just good for them, I guess, for doing this. But then again, it's a fucking action game. It's not even like a MMORPG or like a heavily super duper based RPG. I mean, I understand you make your own character, you have your own choices and whatnot, but I feel like RPG, like other RPG games, should be working more on this than this random, well, not random, but action game. I don't know. It's just, to me, it just seems a little
blown out of proportion.
Yeah, but again,
my God, the outrage culture being blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Not them. They're the only sensible ones.
Yeah, but
He says, being white.
yeah, I was about to say, so like, we can only take it from this one angle, but like,
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I just hate that shit.
yeah, no, I got you.
You're white and you like women, so therefore your opinion doesn't matter because it doesn't apply to this specific situation. And I'm like, motherfucker, what? We have the same experiences.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
I mean, basically.
Well, especially as far as the game's concerned. So the one thing about this that like I feel like was totally legitimate was that they had definitely said you can have these things, and then they take the choice out of the player's hands, regardless of what the choice is. That's still kind of like, well, that sucks. That's like a well, that sucks moment,
I know, but like,
and so like,
what about all the other games that do that?
Yeah, I can understand disappointment. Basically, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, oh well, that's shitty. Like, I wanted to play it like this, and now I have to do that. That sucks.
Yeah, because that's just like the game railroading you to doing one thing.
Yeah,
but if they just switch it to like whatever they're doing now, I guess that's fine. But I don't think they deserve a GLAD award or whatever.
I don't think
that's not.
I don't think this is big enough.
I don't think that's pioneering towards anything other than like, hey, yeah, we accidentally railroaded the story a different way. So I guess we'll just change it a little bit here. Whoops. So
yeah, fuck them.
Okay.
Moving on. Fallout 76 news again, because we all love that. Basically, Fallout 76 now they're going to be including a survival mode. Survival mode, as far as I can see from this article that I'm reading on Polygon, it's going to be a new game mode geared towards more competitive players seeking a challenge, from what Bethesda said. But as far as anybody can tell, it's literally going to be the exact same thing as adventure mode, except instead of having PvP be optional, now anybody who's not in your team are automatically against you. Or hostile, or whatever. So it's just, it kind of cuts to the chase.
Incredible. What an update.
Yeah.
Let's get a round of applause for Bethesda for really adding this mode that I'm sure took resources and time.
Right. From many different developing.
Many. Arcane is over there going, I don't know how we can do this. How do you add PvP to always on? And then we call it a new game mode.
Do the Super Smash passive aggressive clap after you're in the losing section.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And then the only other thing that's worth mentioning here is there's a couple of other differences. When players die, they'll have to respawn at either their camp or Vault 76 instead of near their body to rush back into the fight and reclaim your junk. And camp rewards will be doubled in PvP, encouraging bounty hunters. So these changes aren't set in stone, but we'll be looking to make adjustments. Blah 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 blah. Basically, it's like, you can even use the same character from adventure mode in it, and apparently there's going to be some weird scaling to make sure people, beginners aren't totally shit on. But like,
I'm sure the scaling will be perfect. It'll just work.
Yeah. So that's happening.
I mean, they could just work on the game. I don't know.
Like
it's crazy.
I would rather them just work on the game, and I want Fallout 76 to be good, but it's not looking like it. So that sucks.
Maybe a couple of years from now, maybe it'll be like the No Man's Sky of AAA games.
I feel like what they're doing right here is they're literally just doing something to keep themselves on Twitch.
Oh,
like,
probably.
Well, we're making it better for more competitive players because, like, people like Carnage, we're talking about how easy it was and how you get bored. So, like, we'll make it better for competitive players by making basically a competitive mode. Maybe they'll play it on stream more often, more people will buy the game.
Maybe.
And so it's like minimal effort.
And 1 or 2 more copies were sold that day.
Right, exactly. Next topic here, Dead or Alive 6 is aiming to be more esports friendly. So the developers of Dead or Alive 6 were talking about, and actually have been, I guess, advertising that their newer game is going to have less like things like boob physics and over-sexualizing, and have better options for outfits and stuff like that to allow them to be more viable for a competitive scene so that they can stay relevant and have a game that's successful, unlike Dead or Alive 5, which was apparently a lot of people had problems with because it was like super sexual and boob physics everywhere.
Yeah, well, basically Dead Alive from 1 to 5 and all the volleyball games in between was just like, how do we show more boobs? How do we do it? How can we get more boob
without
on screen
being naked.
jiggling? Yeah, without being naked, because we can't sell that. But let's make it a fighting game. Let's put them in string bikinis. Let's have them fight in volleyball. It's fine.
Yeah.
But now,
we're focusing on the women here, but the men are just as naked.
I actually don't know. I haven't played the newer ones, but I think from what I know of
They're
JRR3, they all seem...
always shirtless.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah. Where's the dick physics?
Yeah.
If they're wearing shorts, I want to see that shit move around.
Give me my physics of equality. Give me my dick physics.
I'm just saying, where's the outrage for this?
I need shrinking and growing technology. And if it's like a little colder, if they're wet, just make sure the dick physics get smaller.
We almost went the whole time without shitting on Red Dead. Almost went to 55.
Oh, you didn't even realize.
No, I wasn't. I was not doing that. No, okay.
Yeah. And this guy's
No, I'm
pointing
just
out,
joking.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh shit. Oh
and
no.
this guy's pointing out how apparently they're trying to be more like that, but there's a lot of instances where it's definitely not that. Like there's a character who wears an extremely short lab coat and cute button hot pants, and then another character who has pigtails and an S&M choker and a frilly made uniform. But it's just that's just standard anime weeb bullshit. I mean,
I was about to say they definitely didn't change the boob physics at all. So I don't know. Unless maybe there's like a subtle differences. I don't know if like people have analyzed the actual bounciness to it, but
yeah, I mean, this guy's basically saying that the whole marketing for it of saying that they're going to be less like that is just marketing, like that they're not really making as many changes as they're claiming to make.
I think the thing is that if it was a good, competent fighting game, people would play it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last step is, okay, now when it comes out, is it worth playing?
Yeah. And the controversy with that character, I think, is the fact that she looks like she's 12. I think that's probably that's probably why people have a problem with her, like wearing shorts and stuff. But it's
there's an outfit in Tales that makes one of the younger girls in that. It's just a weird outfit.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
It is not a family friendly outfit.
Welcome to Japan.
Yeah, it's something. Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Resident Evil 2. So Resident Evil 2, there's some DLC information. Apparently it's going to be a DLC called Ghost Survivors, which will be free. And it's going to include 3 survivors: Robert Kendo, the firearms dealer who owns Raccoon City's Kendo Gun Shop, an unnamed member of the Umbrella Security Service, and Raccoon City Mayor Michael Warren's daughter, who meets the tragic fate at the hands of the city's police chief. So apparently they're going to have like a whole separate storyline with those ghost survivors. So that's
I think it just goes through the backstory and whatnot because
So that's cool and it's free. Free DLC is nice. Then just as like a quick announcement for people who didn't get the chance to get the pre-order version or the deluxe edition, there's actually going to be an extra DLC pack for Resident Evil 2. Actually, it's already out. That has arrived on launch day and gives you all the pre-order and deluxe edition DLC, and it goes for $12. So it's basically if you end up buying the game after now, and you don't get the deluxe edition or the pre-order version, you can buy this DLC and get access to the content that was in there. Which I've always wondered, right? Because for such a long time, games that have like launch specific stuff, those people just have that, nobody else gets it, and it's just like that sucks. Like, what if
but again, though, why even pre-order?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, for most of the time, in fact, I would say 100% of the time, I never pre-order something because of the bonuses I get.
I only pre-ordered this because I got burnt on pre-ordering Red Dead, but I pre-ordered this because it was $15 cheaper, and also it was getting like a lot of good reviews from people, and I saw people playing. I'm like, oh, this actually looks pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, cool.
But usually our message here on the Content Complete podcast is don't, and because it's pre-ordering things is not good for the overall gaming group.
Economy.
Ecosystem. Developers definitely take, at least publishers take advantage of the whole pre-order thing.
One thing you shouldn't pre-order is those Kingdom Hearts PS4 Pros, am I right? Because they're all gone.
I'd literally will kill myself if I don't get one.
Yeah. So
he says, making fun of that one guy.
Right. So, trying to pre-order, see how people like it first before you make a decision to buy something.
Pre-order
so
reasonably.
Are we just going to go ahead and jump to the question of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Fiske, why don't you let us know what's the question here today?
What's your favorite boss fight?
All right. In any game, what is your favorite boss fight?
Your favorite boss fight of all time. Now I have
My
to think of
favorite
one.
boss fight I think of all time is there's two. They're both from Pokemon. There's the red fight in Crystal, which is epic. And then the Barry fight in Ruby and Sapphire. Barry, I think his name is. Because like that fight is really hard. It's
So as far as like pride and accomplishment is concerned, it's just like sick. I fucking beat this hard battle.
Yeah.
I got you. Actually, I have a little bit of a difficulty of with this question. What was yours?
I was gonna say I can stall for you. Off the top of my head, my favorite boss fight would be the one from Metal Gear Solid 4, because the final one you're fighting against Revolver. You're playing as Solid Snake. You're fighting against Revolver Ocelot or Liquid Ocelot or whatever. It's complicated, but through the course of the fight, one, it's just like a giant like fucking fist fight. You're just beating the shit out of each other, and there's like cutscenes of you mashing buttons and shit. But like throughout the fights, they have like the main themes from like all the Metal Gear Solid games playing like in certain portions, and like the life bars change to represent that game. So it goes from like Metal Gear Solid, like da 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 da, and it has like the old classic like little not 8-bit, but like the life bars on Metal Gear Solid 1 was like 16-bit kind of things.
Right. Yeah.
And you can just kind of go through that through the entire fight. Just two old guys beating the shit out of each other. It's great stuff.
It's pretty sick. I'm having like I had one before, and I remember parts of it, but I don't remember what game or anything, and it was mostly just the feeling. But I think what makes a best boss fight for me are the boss fights that aren't just a fight, but they're like a whole dialogue, right? Like my favorite types of boss fights are literally just because I get so upset when the boss fight's literally just a bunch of quick time events, or it's really short. I was really upset with like Shadow of Mordor and stuff like that because of that reason, and Shadow of War and all that. But any boss fight where there's parts, but then it's broken up by straight up back and forth between the big bad guy and the good guy. But I had one and I can't remember. And
I mean, what kind of fight is it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's some like PS2 Xbox 360 era game, and I can't remember what it is.
But
can you remember anything about it?
No.
Yeah, we can help you.
I remember how it feels. I don't remember the game. I've lost it.
Not the game, just anything about the fight at all. You're fucking useless.
I'm thinking. Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Well,
Was it an RPG?
I want to say it was RPG like, where well, it's a common thing in RPGs to have like you have the fight and then there's like you have a break where they're like
Yeah.
And so there's that where it's in multiple parts, and yeah, I don't know. I just remember like the dialogue being really satisfying, and the combat, it wasn't like too hard, but it was like challenging because. Yeah, it wasn't like super easy either, but it wasn't like I was dying all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, old JRPGs had a pretty good time with having like good ending fights to bosses, because it just felt like, oh fuck, I finally killed you. All 14 phases of you. You're finally dead. Please stay dead.
Yeah.
Oh, cutscene. Yeah, everything's happy now. Yay.
Yeah. I don't think it's a JRPG, because I don't think I've ever like beaten like one of the older JRPGs. I want to say it's a game that involves like I think it might be first person, and but then the boss fight is in parts like that. But I don't remember what it is. It's like a first person shooter type deal.
Fear?
Might be Fear. Fear was a really good boss fight.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had one in mind and I can't remember it, but
oh, it happens.
Like any boss fight that is not just a throwaway boss fight. I need there to be like some payoff, because like that can really make or break a game for me sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, with the older RPGs, they have to justify you playing 60 plus hours of a game.
I'm actually a little bit intimidated by some of the older RPGs because like you look it up and people are like, yeah, nah, dude, it took me like an hour and a half because the battle was like an hour and a half.
These
long.
motherfuckers, like, also they're talking about like the Persona 5 ending boss fight. People are like, yeah, it took me like hours to beat that guy. I beat that motherfucker first try in like an hour, and that's from like the ending, like all the setup and everything up to it.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, it was a long boss fight.
Too. Yeah.
Probably like the longest boss fight I've ever done.
Yeah.
But still, it's those same motherfuckers who are like, I've been stuck on this Dark Souls boss for like 2 days.
3 years.
How?
For 30 years.
How?
Man.
I understand.
I'm sure that there's like one thing that they're just missing that is like, oh shit, I could have done that. Usually that's the case. Like, I can't beat him. We're like, oh, did you try maybe doing this with this person?
tried
They're like,
getting good?
Oh, fucking shit.
Speaking of getting good,
Look, I'm
let's
just
get out of
mad.
All right, so let's go on to
Just mad at that fucking
I totally-
Assassin's Creed shit.
I totally forgot to update this shit. I wanted to update at least the next slide this morning, but I instead looked up all these great stories. So Fiskcake, why don't you tell people where they can find you and what you're doing?
well, you can find me on YouTube this week with at the Fistcake on Fistcake on YouTube, where this week we'll be finishing off the Hex. Tomorrow I'll have my Twitch analysis stream or video, and then the afternoon slots will be filled in with the 7th Stand user. Then I think Fridays I'm going to do a vlog of some sort. I don't know what, just to kind of have like a Monday and Friday special thing. Eventually, once I kind of get a workflow going, I'm going to have weekend Twitch highlights. Probably not a whole lot, probably just like little quick 10-minute videos or something. Nothing too crazy. But for sure this week, finishing off the Hex, the 7th Stand user, Twitch analysis video, and some kind of vlog on Friday. At the Fistcake, I'm on Twitters at the Fistcake. On Twitch, I'm at Fistcake. This week it's going to be weird because we have that skiing trip this weekend, so I'm going to be streaming in the morning instead of the afternoon, actually. So Monday through Friday will be 8 a.m. to noon, I think, or 9 to 1, one of the two. And then whatever evening obligations I have, I will do those as well. Debating on streaming those or not, because I think it'd be probably easier. Because I don't want to make something too complicated. I don't want to have like okay, Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday doing this. Then sometimes these nights I'm doing this. Then on those other nights I'm doing this. But for sure, Tuesday through Friday, 8 to noon or 9 to 1. And then I think we're good with doing Into the Veil on Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Into the Veil on Wednesday, normal starting time?
Yep.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Pacific time.
So this time we're going to do 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Try that out. And I think I'll be doing some of the Coulter this Thursday as well. I had to talk to him. But that's it for me. Where can people find you two?
So real quick, because I didn't have a game and I just thought of one. I don't remember the other one, but I did remember talking to Matt about this afterwards. The second time you fight Baldur in God of War, when Kratos and Atreus are like in sync, and they're like, like wordlessly like just working together to do this crazy shit. That was
that's a pretty good one too. Yeah, God of War has a lot of good boss fights too.
Yeah, I just really like that one because it's like, old boy is doing good.
Boy, do good. Good.
That's
good
our
boy.
That's our boy.
That's our boy.
But as far as Neanderthal Gaming TV specific information, you can catch us on YouTube and Twitch. It's the same handle, Neanderthal Gaming TV. As far as Twitch goes, this upcoming week we'll be doing Monday will be Civ, Tuesday will be Minecraft, Wednesday will be Into the Veil with Fistcake for A Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden. Thursday probably will be Vesperia. And then Friday, we may or may not stream. It's usually like a toss-up day. Probably be playing Final Fantasy X off stream. And then, of course, the weekends we have Smash Ultimate and then Melee. And then any and all... Oh, and then Matt's playing Thronebreaker on Friday with Coulter, of course, in the morning.
Yeah. Next session should be the end.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, okay. Heard that 10 times before.
I mean, it very well might be.
Look, you're right that I've said this before, but I really believe it this time.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it different.
Like, because we felt like we could have finished it this session, but we'd have to rush a little bit because we were like 3 hours and 30 minutes into the stream.
Yeah.
And we probably have like another 2 hours to go. But if we rushed it would probably be like an hour. But I was like, we haven't rushed any of this whole game. Literally done all of it.
Right.
Like,
if you finish it this Friday, since Fiskik might not be able to make it for the podcast, as an alternate, we might be able to have Coulter on and you guys can have a spoiler cast about it and talk about Stormbreaker.
There you go. Yeah. Fill in that content hole.
Oh yeah, there you go. Always thinking, always hustling. But yeah, so any and all worthy content from our Twitch account will usually be uploaded then later at a later date to our YouTube channel. And then you can also follow us on Twitter at NeanderthalGTV for any updates and all that good stuff. For content complete specific information, you can follow us on Twitter at Complete Podcast. Is that right? Complete Podcast?
It's Complete Cast, but don't worry about it because we might be able to change it to Content Complete. Maybe, fingers crossed. I have to look into it, but
yeah. So
basically, I'm gonna pull a ninja.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Maybe.
So at this time, it's at Complete Cast.
Yeah.
You can also send us ideas and suggestions to constantcompletecast@gmail.com. The podcast goes live at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays at twitch.tv/concomcast and twitch.tv/NeanderthalGamingTV. All episodes are available on our YouTube channel. The audio-only version is available on your favorite podcasting app, and both are released on Mondays, so we stream it on Sundays, and the very next day we have the video version on YouTube and then the audio-only version in podcast form. But yeah, any last announcements or words or anything like that?
Nah.
Thanks, Joe Ty, for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks, Joe Ty, for coming in, for asking us some pretty good questions. And yeah, thanks everyone so much for listening, for hanging, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye.